Hello everyone, myself Dr. Jyoti Mandala. Welcome you all to the video lecture series on object-oriented programming through Java. We are in our lecture number 13. We are in the process of learning about arrays. So up to our last lecture, we learned about what actually a one-dimensional array is. So we have started with the introduction to an array. After that, we learned about what actually a one-dimensional array is, and we have worked with an example, and also we learned about a second type of array, that is a two-dimensional array, that is also we learned with an example. So in this lecture, we will be learning about the third category, that is about multi-dimensional array, and we'll end up with the jagged array. What actually, when an array is called as a jagged array. Okay, so normally one dimensional array is nothing but it will be holding one row of a value. That means we have only one row of value and all the values will be stored in a continuous memory location. Suppose if you are talking about a two-dimensional array is nothing but we will be having multiple rows of values, and each row will be capable of storing multiple values. So all these values will also be stored row by row in a continuous memory location. Now, suppose if you want to have, so in one-dimensional array, we will be mentioning the size in one dimension, and in two-dimensional array, we will be mentioning the size with two dimensions. But suppose if you want to have more than two dimensions, then such an array is called as a multi-dimensional array. So in multi-dimensional array, we are having more than one dimension. Normally, two-dimensional array is also considered as a multi-dimensional array. So let us think in that way also. Okay, so two-dimensional array is the simplest form of Java's multi-dimensional array. So if you want to have n-dimensional array, then you need to specify n brackets. That's it. So if you want to have a four-dimensional array, four brackets need to be specified. If you want to have a three-dimensional array, three brackets need to be specified. So let us confine ourselves for the three-dimensional array. The way how you have done for the two-dimensional array, it has to be done for three-dimension, four-dimension. Everything is same. So let us see for three-dimensional array. So how you need to do? You need to specify the declaration with three dimensions. No need to use the new operator. So this is how the declaration can be done. Now, if you see the example, we have to specify the data type and array name, and three dimensions are specified here, like empty dimensions. So no need to specify any values there. But at the time of instantiating, we need to specify by using a new data type. And if you are talking about a three-dimensional array, in three-dimensional array, we are specifying how many tables you want to do. Like if you see, if this is a two-dimensional array where we are storing only one table of data, whereas if three-dimensional array, we can store multiple tables of data. So you need to tell the first parameter as how many tables you want to store, and each table how many rows, and each row how many columns we need to specify. That is how we need to tell. So if you write like this, that means we are going to create two tables. So this is table 1 and this is table 2, and each table is capable of storing 3 rows. So this will be having 3 rows and this will be having 3 rows. Okay, and each row is capable of storing 4 values. So this is like this. Like this it will be allocated. And this will be given an index of table 0, and this will be given an index of table 1. And you already know the indexing of rows and columns. Okay, so this is how instantiation can be done, and initialization can be done at compile time directly. You can give the values by specifying the table number, row index, and column index. That means if you have declared like this, then what happens if you need to specify table 0. Let us consider if you are writing table 0, row 0, and column 0. That means for a particular table, which row and which column you need to specify, and you need to assign the values like this. If you want to reduce your work, you can combine the declaration initialization by simply specifying the values like this. So no need to use the new operator. Here is an example. So you can mention like this. So this is about a table 1, this is table 1, and this is table 2. Right, now coming to the initialization of arrays at runtime, that means using the scanner class, we need to use 3 for loops. First for loop is to specify about the table, this specifies about the table, okay, and this specifies about the table, and this specifies about the row, and this specifies about the column. So we need to have 3 for loops. Right, like two-dimensional array, we need to specify the row size and column size only because we have only one table. But whereas coming to the three-dimensional array, we need to specify the table also. The table indexing, according to our example, we start from 0 and we have a second table index as 1. right? And each table will be having a row size starting from 0 to 2, and then we have for each row it is having a column values from 0 to 3. Got it, all of you? So you already know why we have written this table, because we want to read the values and compile them. Now if you want to print the values, we need to again write down 3 for loops, one for table, one for row, and one for column, and we can print the values. Very simple. Right? So this is about multi-dimensional arrays. Now we have another category. Now what is the problem? What is that one is jagged array? What actually this jagged array is, normally whenever we are talking about multi-dimensional array, let us consider like a two-dimensional array. What we have learned till now is each row. Let us consider if you are writing A of 2, 3, then what happens? Let us consider 2, 5. Then what happens? Row 1 will be having 5 values, and row 2 will be also having the 5 values. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if you are storing only 3 values here, and if you are storing all the 5 values here, then the 2 locations whatever we are not using here, that will be unused. That means we are wasting the memory. So what happens here? The fixed number of values for each row is common. That means the number of rows you want to, the number of values you want to have in each row is fixed. So because of that, sometimes there may be a wastage of our memory. So with jagged array, what we need to do is we can have an option where each member in the array, that means each row in the array, is of different size. Not like fixed size, like two-dimensional array and three-dimensional array, we have a fixed size. But if you want to have an option like each row should have a different size, then we can convert our normal array to a jagged array. Then how can that be done? So that let us see a simple example of that one. So if you want to create a two-dimensional array where first array we want to store 3 elements and second array we want to store 4 elements, that can be simply done by like this. First we need to declare an array, and we need to allocate the memory, and while allocating the memory we should not specify the column size, just specify the row size. So 3 rows we want to create, so it will be creating 3 rows. So what happens? 3 rows will be created like this. Now in each row, how many elements you want to store, that you need to specify as a third statement. That means if you write like this, that means A of 0, that means this row we want to store 4 elements. So if you write a statement like this, then first row will be holding 4 values like this. And if you write one more statement A of 1, that means the second row, if you are writing like size as 2, then it is capable of storing 2 values. Got it? And you have A of 2, and then A of 2 is nothing but, if you are writing like this, then if you are writing the third row, you will be having 3 values like this. So if you observe here, we are not wasting this memory, which we have not at all allocated. This memory can be used by someone else. So we are effectively utilizing our memory by using the jagged array, where each element, like or each member of the array will be of different size. So such an array is called as a jagged array. Right? So to understand this one, let us see an example. Let me show you this example. I have taken one class. You can see here, this is a public class, and then this class name is tester, and in the main method I have created one two-dimensional array where I have not specified the column size. I have specified only the row size. Now in each row, how many values you want to store, you need to individually tell. So what is the name of that one? Two-dimensional array. Row 0 requires 3 elements, and row 1 takes 4 values. So like that you can specify. So here it is a jagged array. Got all of you? And if you want to read the values, for the first row, let us consider. For the first row, if you want to read the values, how that can be done? You can observe here. For the first row, and we are specifying the length. Length is nothing but, we are reading the values for this one and this one. For a total of how many values? For the first row, we want to read 3 values, and the second row, we want to read the 4 values. So total of 12 values you want to store into our memory. So to do that task, we need to give 2 for loops. Observe the for loop carefully. For each row, the row values will start from 0 to 2. We can directly write 2 here, or else you can use this dot length operator also, dot length function, where give the array name and give dot. It will give the number of rows. So for each row, you need to observe here, column size will be for two-dimensional array of row size. Whatever row size we have, its particular length you are getting. So for the first row, you will be having 3 value. So the first row, it will be running this for loop 3 times. So you will be getting 3 values. That means normally here I have given a counter value 0 and automatically counter value 0, 1, 2 will be SI. So like that the code has been written. And then for the second time, for the row 2, this will be repeated how many times? 4 times. So the next counter values will be given. So like that the values will be initialized, and then same for loop, 2 for loops can be used and you can print this value. Right here, the only thing you need to observe is how you can assign different size row, different column size values for different members, like different rows. So these 3 statements you all need to understand. I'll show you the PPT once again. You can understand here. You have to declare, you have to allocate the memory. At the time of allocating the memory, just to specify the row size. And for each row, that means for the first row, how many values you need to specify, like this statement, for the second row like this, and for the third row like this. So what is the main use of this jagged array is we are saving our space. Right? So this is about multi-dimensional arrays and jagged arrays, and with this we have come to an end of different types of arrays. We have learned about one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, multi-dimensional array, and jagged arrays. I hope you all are clear with this concept. So let us all meet in our next lecture. Until then, thank you all of you.